Many of you will be reading The Witch of Blackbird Pond in Challenge 1 this year, and I'd like to take you on a tour of the setting of this novel, which happens to be the very real town of Old Wethersfield, Connecticut. As you can see from these two maps, the town has changed greatly since the 1600s when the book was set. Let's start with Wethersfield Cove. This might be the Blackbird Pond of the novel, where Hannah Tupper had her cottage. However, since the book's setting in the 1600s, this area changed greatly. In the 1700s, flooding came through, changed the course of the Connecticut River, and created the cove we see here today. But one of the buildings from that time is still standing. That's the Cove Warehouse. It's a building that dates back to the late 17th century and the only remaining one of 6 warehouses that accommodated the shipping trade here in Wethersfield, Connecticut. You might be wondering, where are the Great Meadows, where Kit met Hannah Tupper and had her clandestine meetings with Prudence and Nat Eaton? Well, the Great Meadows are gone now, and in their place stands the town of Old Wethersfield. Let's take a walk and look at some of these beautiful old homes and buildings. Here we have the First Church of Wethersfield. It's the 3rd meeting house built in this spot. The first meeting house was built here in the 1600s, so this may have been the spot of the meeting house referenced in the novel. The author of The Witch of Blackbird Pond, Elizabeth George Speare, lived in the town of Wethersfield while she was writing this novel. Wethersfield has been designated a literary landmark in part because of the house that inspired the book. There are the diamond-paned windows referenced when Nat Eaton mocks Kit and says, "An interesting cargo we had this trip." One item in particular, 16 diamond-paned windows ordered from England by one William Ashby. They say he's building a house for his bride, a hoity-toity young lady from Barbados. And the best is none too good for her. No oiled paper in her windows, no indeed. This house is one of the last remaining old houses from the early 1700s. Definitely inspired The Witch of Blackbird Pond. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the setting of The Witch of Blackbird Pond. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Happy reading!